Oh man, here I go, recording another video. It's been like a week, I think, so I feel kind of discombobulated and awkward in front of the camera, although I suppose I always will. But I do have everything set up. I have some tea. I was going to say coffee, but it's actually tea. It's green tea, so it is caffeinated. And I got this mug from a friend. It says, "Never underestimate the power of this woman." Yeah, there's the. Yeah, and that same friend got me this and the shirt that I'm wearing, and it smells like them, and it's just really nice. It's nice to be thought of and gifted things. I always think it's really funny. Like, obviously it's nice to be thought of and to be given something, but the things that remind people of you, like seeing this shirt and thinking, oh, Ronan would like this, or I bet Ronan would like this cup, and like, of course I do like it all, but I also just like seeing what triggers people's thoughts of me, I guess, hopefully in a positive way. And I've got my incense going and trying to calm myself down. Like, as soon as I turn on the camera, I know I get this like nervous response, that kind of can't be helped. I just have to work through it. I mean, I could just record and do all this and edit out the first couple minutes of the video as I'm like calming myself down, but then I feel like it wouldn't be authentic, and that's kind of my whole thing. So you get to see me as I like ease into back into my body and ground myself, and hopefully don't burn myself on this tea. I don't know if I should drink it yet, but I feel like maybe I made it too sweet. No, it's okay. Just a little sip. Okay. So to actually get into the video, so this isn't like 6 minutes of me rambling. Yeah, it's been a week or two. I never uploaded the long video. I'm going to stop saying when I'm going to do that, or when I'm going to do more changes to these videos in terms of like stylistic or format, because the truth is, like, I don't know when that will happen because I am a full-time mom, and I can plan for things and I can want things to happen, but then them actually happening is a completely different thing, because my time is, it's focused on my baby, and that's my priority. So last week I didn't upload anything because this past Sunday, the 16th, was my kid's first birthday, and I really wanted to make it special for them. And so I had put a lot of time and effort into like planning and like, the guest list and the setup and everything. And so, it took a lot of coordinating that week before. And I think I just didn't want to focus on like any real heavy issues, because there's definitely been a lot of stuff that I've been wanting to talk about in the past week or so. But I think part of like gaining this level of self-awareness or empowerment or whatever the hell it is that I'm doing is giving yourself permission and almost not being held to your own word. I think maybe that's why a lot of people don't say things, don't speak before they do, and maybe I could learn that, but I tend to speak freely and openly, and sometimes that puts me in situations where I've said I'm going to do something and then plans change, and then I can get into a very like shaming situation because I didn't do it. And now I really am trying to be at a place in my life where like I just allow for things to happen as they do. I can have the intent, I can have the desire, the want, I can even plan. But giving myself the flexibility in each and every moment to really decide what's best for me in that moment is like true ultimate freedom. Before I was very much like, but I said this, I'm going to have to do it, or just, beat myself with shame until I get over it. So definitely not trying to do that anymore. And that's sort of my valid excuse for the silence this past week on YouTube. I've been active, obviously, on my other social media, but not really so much. I feel like all this stuff is just a time suck, and it's kind of toxic and negative, but it's a necessary evil. So here we are, the second they shut this all off, what are we going to do then? That's my question, but that's for a different discussion, not so much the things I talk about on this channel. Though I'm always down to have conspiracy discussions and discussions on just world politics in general, because yeah, there's a lot of shit happening out there. It's heavy, and if you've got a kid, you're very much invested in the future because you've got like living literal flesh in the future, which I don't think that should be the caveat for caring about the future, but it definitely changes the game when you're like physically invested. You know, I worry a lot about where is my kid gonna be in this life with the way things are, and it can be very paralyzing, and like with all the fear mongering, like just overriding the senses, overwhelming. So it's important to kind of keep that separation from the internet and reality, which can be really difficult when you're someone like me that prides themselves on being authentic and real. So I want to have less of that filter, but then I also need to look out for my well-being and my child's well-being. So I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I am going to eventually upload that video. I don't know when. Maybe it will be today, but there's other things I want to do on this rainy day. I still need to finish making a photo book and writing a letter and, you know, just like lots of little projects I've always got going on in my head and in reality. There's some real things that I want to start manifesting now that, you know, COVID isn't over, but obviously life is changing yet again with the advent of all these vaccines and all that stuff, and I guess the no mask requirement, which I still do anyway, just because that's how I feel like being. You know, it's it works for my anxiety. I like people not being able to see my face. I wear sunglasses and a mask, so I just look like the Invisible Man or like a plastic surgery patient, which maybe that will come in handy someday when I do like my complete facial reconstruction, so that I can go completely incognito in life. Although I don't think that'll actually ever happen. I like my face. It's me in this physical incarnation. It's how I represent myself. So yeah, I mean, there's not too much I want to talk about other than like what I've been rambling about, just kind of these free-flowing thoughts in my head. I do want to talk more. I think I've been kind of vacillating between spirituality and healing from traumatic covert narcissistic abuse, and I was seeing them as two very separate things, and kind of like, I think if I'm making these videos, I should be focusing on just that one aspect, which became the covert narcissistic abuse. And then it became harder to want to introduce spirituality. And I almost felt like I couldn't claim spirituality because I'm dealing with all these heavy topics. And in order to be spiritual and healed, you have to be beyond it. And I mean, I've kind of come to the realization, obviously, since I'm making this video, that that's not the case. So, yeah, I think that these two things can actually coincide and coexist, and that part of being spiritual and getting to a higher level of spirituality is working through the trauma and not the spiritual bypassing. And if I'm honest, I think for a lot of reasons, I wasn't talking about things. I mean, up until very recently, because I felt like, oh, if I can just skip all the hard work and the anger and the resentment and the sadness and the love and the fear and all of the messy emotions, if I could just bypass that, then I've really mastered it and I can ascend, you know, like on some level, obviously not like literally. But really part of getting to that place is working through it, and it takes time. And I think it's just, there's a lot of noise on the internet, a lot of like, just let go of your trauma, let go of it. And like, yeah, maybe there is some shit you can let go. I can let go of the stupid shit that some guy said in front of me in line, you know, at the store earlier. That doesn't matter. But then there's some things that like, you don't just get to let go, you know, they very much define you. And, so that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, I know there's more things that I want to talk about. I won't in this video because it's already 9 minutes long and I'm trying to keep them short. But I do have two topics that I want to record this week, hopefully, if time will allow, still about the covert narcissistic abuse. The spirituality, I think it's just going to be laced into that. I mean, it's sort of how it shapes my understanding, like how I've been able to like grow from this and work through the stuff has been through a spiritual lens, you know, and trying to see a bigger picture And so much of what can get in the way is like the ego of myself, the ego of other people, the shame response, like just there's so much noise. And so I think it really requires me being focused and being considerate of who I am and my energy and what I'm capable of doing. And first and foremost, like, I'm a mom. Like, I wear that badge really proudly, and I never thought that. Like, it's so ironic to me. I mean, I won't say I looked down on mothers, but I never had the understanding, obviously, until I became one, and the appreciation of all that mother figures women do to kind of shape and move the world, and how I feel like men almost are the opposite, the undoing of everything, so that we have to keep going. It's like this cycle of women build, men destroy, but again, that's something else. So yeah, I mean, being a mom is going to be my priority, so things may not come up on a regular schedule because people that take care of kids don't really have that opportunity to just like drop things and do them at random hours of the day or night because, nighttime I got to be sleeping so that when she wakes up at a random hour, I'm at least somewhat, well slept enough to care for her adequately. So that's just my reality, and I think I'm really kind of settling into things in the past like couple months. Like this whole age of Aquarius, I look back on just a couple months ago even, and I'm like, who was even that person? Like, in a good way. I just feel like when I was in the abusive relationship, I was stuck, I was stagnant, and I had been in a different way for some time before. And then like this catalyst, the change, I ended everything, and then there was a good chunk from probably like July until January of healing. And then now I've slowly been coming into more like a place of power and sovereignty that I've said a lot before, but it's really like true, and it's cool to watch, like to be able to look back. If there's one positive thing about technology and social media, I guess good and bad, it's the fact that you can look back and I can see like, oh, I remember what I was thinking then. I remember how I felt then, and look where I am now, So that's awesome. And there will be more videos. I won't say what the topics are specifically because I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I have ideas and I'll do this for now. And then I'm just going to go do some other projects so I can feel like I have spent my time well in my little bits of free time. And I hope you are all doing the same in whatever free time you may have, that you do things you enjoy, that make you happy, that bring you wellness, because we all deserve that. Really, everybody deserves that in this life, even people I don't like. And we all deserve it. Just live and let live. So, yeah, I'll end it at that. Take care of yourself. And thanks for watching if you actually did.